How much longer are you going to keep lying to yourself? You tell yourself everything is fine, but it isn't. The truth is, you've spent years running away from who you are, disguising your stagnation with pretty excuses. And the worst part, you believe them. But it's time to break the silence, because every day you refuse to face your own truths, you die a little inside. In this video, I bring you 15 raw truths, necessary, uncomfortable, phrases you should tell yourself every day, even if they hurt, even if they tear you apart inside. The Stoics did not build their emotional strength from comfort, but from the brutal clarity with which they spoke to themselves. If you're tired of going in circles, if you know you need real change, start here. These phrases I'm about to reveal will make you see reality through different eyes and force you to act. Get ready, because not everyone is ready to truly listen to themselves. Are you? Before we begin, tell me, how long has it been since you last told yourself the truth you need to hear? Share this video with someone who needs it too, and become a member of the channel to access content that truly transforms. And also, write in the comments, "Today I dare to tell myself the truth." That will be your commitment. Now yes, let's begin. First lesson, I am the only one who can change this. Sit down for a second and think about this. You're lying in your bed on a Sunday afternoon. The room is half lit. You know that tomorrow another week begins just like the last one. The same job that doesn't fulfill you. The same empty conversations. The same feeling of being trapped in a routine you didn't choose but haven't really tried to change either. And there you are, scrolling on your phone, waiting. Waiting for what exactly? Maybe for a sign. Maybe for someone to offer you a better job. Maybe for your partner to magically understand what you need without you saying a word. Maybe for life to simply fix itself while you watch from the sidelines. Here's the first phrase you must tell yourself every day. And believe me, it's one of the ones that hurts the most. I am the only one who can change this. Not your boss, not your family, not fate, luck, or circumstances. You. Only you have the keys to your own cage and you know it. You've always known it. But it's more comfortable to pretend you don't, because accepting that truth also means accepting the responsibility to act. And I'm sure you also know someone who has been complaining about their health for years. They say they should eat better, that they should move more, that they should sleep more hours. But every time you go out with that person, they order the least healthy option on the menu. Stay up late watching series and spend weekends sprawled on the couch. They'll tell you they don't have time, that work exhausts them, that they'll start next month. But months go by, and nothing changes. Why? Because deep down they're waiting for their body to fix itself, for a doctor to give them a magic pill, for someone else to prepare the perfect meals and force them to exercise. They're waiting for someone else to solve what only they can solve. Epictetus spent a large part of his life as a slave. Imagine that for a moment. He had no control over his body, his time, or his location. His owner could sell him, beat him, use him however he wanted. If anyone had the right to sit back and wait for someone else to save them, it was him. But Epictetus understood something that most people with all the freedom in the world never understand. That no one was going to come and free him. That his only real freedom was in how he responded to what happened to him. That they could chain his body, but not his mind. And from that brutal clarity, he built a philosophy that continues to transform lives 2,000 years later. Look at the contrast. Epictetus, without physical freedom, understood his power. You, with all the freedom in the world, are still waiting for permission to use it. He didn't waste time blaming his master, Rome, or the gods. He simply asked, "What is in my control here and now?" And he worked only with that, every day, without waiting for applause, without waiting for the chains to disappear on their own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Stop talking about what a good man should be. Be one." He didn't write, "Wait for others to be good to you." He didn't write, "When circumstances are perfect, then act." He wrote, "Do it yourself, now, with what you have." Marcus was an emperor. He had armies, wealth, absolute power. But he understood that none of that meant anything if he didn't take personal responsibility every morning when he woke up. Look at this from another angle. Imagine you're in your kitchen and you see a huge stain on the floor. Coffee that spilled days ago dried up and now it's a sticky mess. Every time you walk past it, you think, "I should clean that." But you don't. You wait to feel like it. You wait for the perfect moment. You wait for someone else to see it and clean it. Meanwhile, you walk around the stain, complain about how disgusting your kitchen is, and keep waiting. Does that sound ridiculous? Well, that's exactly what you do with the real problems in your life. That conversation you need to have. That project you need to start. That call you need to make. That boundary you need to set. That apology you need to give. You keep circling around them, waiting for the perfect moment, the external push, the magical motivation. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. The push never comes. Motivation is a myth. The only real thing is the decision to bend down and clean the damn stain. Seneca said it with a clarity that is almost overwhelming. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Read it again. Your problems are not hard because they are complicated. They are hard because you've spent months or years avoiding them, letting them grow, waiting for them to solve themselves. Every day you don't act, the problem becomes bigger, heavier, more intimidating. Think of someone who left a toxic job. Before quitting, they went through terrible months, sleepless nights, constant stress, headaches, anxiety. But they didn't move because they were waiting for the perfect offer, the ideal moment, for the situation to improve on its own. And nothing changed. Until one day they said enough and handed in their resignation. And guess what happened? Life didn't end. In fact, it began. Because they finally accepted that no one was going to rescue them from that situation. That if they wanted to breathe again, they had to move themselves. This is the uncomfortable truth you must tell yourself every morning, my friend. You are the only one who can change this. Not your therapist, even if they help you see more clearly. Not your best friend, even if they support you. Not the universe, not energy, not abundance. You. With your hands, with your decisions, with your courage or your fear, but moving anyway. The Stoics trained this like a muscle. Every day they asked themselves, what is in my control today? They didn't waste energy on what they couldn't change. They didn't wait for others to solve what only they could solve. They identified one thing, just one that was within their power, and they did it. That's how they built strength. That's how they lived with dignity even in the middle of chaos. So what can you do today? Right now? Identify one single thing you've been postponing because you're waiting for it to fix itself or for someone else to solve it. It can be small. It can be huge. It doesn't matter. Write it down. And before this day ends, take one step towards solving it. Not the whole path. One step, just one. Send that message, make that call, clean that space, schedule that appointment. Whatever it is, but do it yourself. And every time you catch yourself waiting for someone to come and save you, stop, breathe, and repeat this phrase out loud. I am the only one who can change this. Not as punishment, as liberation. Because when you accept that truth, when you truly accept it, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your life. No one is coming. And that's okay. You have everything you need. You always have. Lesson 2. What you ignore today will destroy you tomorrow. Here's a truth you should tell yourself every morning, even if it hurts. What you ignore today will destroy you tomorrow. That truth isn't comfortable, but it's necessary. Because ignoring it doesn't make it any less real, like it only makes it more dangerous. Have you ever had a leak in your ceiling? At first, it's just a couple of drops trickling down the wall when it rains. Just a soft plop that barely wets the floor. Easy to ignore, easy to leave for tomorrow. You tell yourself it's not a big deal. But the Stoics wouldn't have left it for tomorrow. Epictetus, hearing the first drop, would have gotten up immediately. Because for him, true freedom wasn't putting things off. It was taking care of what depended on you. But you let the leak continue. And one day, you wake up to a soaked bed, a collapsed ceiling, and a flooded floor. And only then do you ask yourself, how did it come to this? That's how it is with everything, my friend. What you ignore doesn't disappear. It gets bigger, more obvious, more painful. Every morning you feel a little twinge in your knee climbing the stairs, and you tell yourself it's nothing. A month later, you can't even squat down. A year later, you're in surgery. Or that person at work who always disrespects you with cruel jokes, and you just smile and let it go because you don't want to cause conflict. And one day you realize you can't stop it anymore, and it's no longer just about them. Now it's you who can't look in the mirror without feeling small. Every excuse you give yourself, every truth you refuse to face, is another drop making the hole bigger. James Clear summed it up perfectly in Atomic Habits. Every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. And that sentence could have been written by Marcus Aurelius himself. To him, every day you didn't act, didn't face the small cracks, you were voting to become weaker. The Stoics didn't postpone uncomfortable truths. Of course not. They wrote them down in their journals, faced them daily, and acted, because they knew looking away was the beginning of disaster. Epictetus, with his chains, wouldn't have said, "I'll think about it tomorrow." Marcus Aurelius wouldn't have let dampness creep into his palace out of fear of being inconvenienced. And it was the same with everything, not just physical things, but with fears, with problems, with the misfortunes life threw at them. They told themselves the harshest truths and dealt with them before it was too late. So look at yourself carefully and answer me. What crack are you letting grow? What truth are you refusing to tell yourself because it's uncomfortable? That's the question the Stoics ask themselves every morning, and the one you should ask yourself today. You can start right now. Pick one crack, the one you've been putting off, and do something, even something small, to fix it. And each night, instead of rehearsing excuses, ask yourself, what version of myself am I building with what I do or don't do? Put a note on your mirror with another question to wake you up. Am I ignoring something important out of comfort or fear? And the next time you hear the plop, plop of a leak in your life, don't wait for the ceiling to collapse. Get up, say it out loud, as Marcus Aurelius would. Today I tell myself the truth. Today I act. Lesson 3. Comfort is weakening me. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something truly difficult? And I don't mean a stressful day at work. We all have those every day. I mean something your body and your mind begged you not to do. Something that pulled you completely out of your comfort zone. If you have to think about it for more than 5 seconds, there's your problem. But don't worry, you're not the only one. We live in the most comfortable era in human history. Food without hunting, heat without making fire, endless entertainment without leaving the couch. Everything one click away. It's wonderful. And it's destroying you. That's why, today more than ever, you need to tell yourself this phrase every day. Comfort is weakening me. This is not an attack on technology. It's a fact about your biology. Your body and your mind adapt. If you challenge them, they grow stronger. If you don't, they wither. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius could sleep in the softest beds, eat exquisite delicacies, surround himself with all the comfort of the empire. But he chose to sleep on the floor. He bathed in cold water. He deliberately deprived himself of comforts. Not because he was a masochist, because he understood that excessive comfort weakens the spirit. He wrote, "Accustom yourself to what you can easily do without." Notice that wisdom. Don't get used to what you need. Get used to living without what you don't need. Because the day it disappears, you will still be standing. And even though they didn't know it, science backs this up. Every time you avoid a physical discomfort, your brain records that avoidance as a danger avoided. You literally train your brain to see effort as a threat. You walk instead of run, and your brain learns, running is dangerous. You take the elevator instead of the stairs, and your brain learns, stairs are a threat. You order food instead of cooking, and your brain learns, cooking is a problem to avoid. Over time, your comfort threshold becomes narrower and narrower. What used to be normal now feels impossible. What you once did without thinking now requires monumental effort. Your comfort zone turns into a cage you built yourself, bar by bar, every time you chose what was easy over what was necessary. The Stoics did this deliberately. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, practiced what he called the rehearsal of poverty. Several days each month, he ate only bread and water. He slept on the floor. He wore cheap clothes. People asked him why. He answered, "So that when fortune takes it away from me, it doesn't destroy me." so I know I can live without it. He didn't wait to lose everything to find out if he could endure it. He practiced while he still had it. Epictetus was more direct. If you want to be invincible, never enter a contest where victory does not depend on you. And the only contest where victory always depends on you is the fight against your own weakness, against your need for comfort, against your resistance to effort. Look at how this works in practice. You decide you want to improve your health and commit to taking a cold shower every morning. The first day, you turn on the water and your body tenses before stepping in. Your mind starts negotiating. It's cold outside, better tomorrow. You didn't sleep well, you deserve something pleasant. A hot shower will relax you more. All those voices trying to keep you in your comfort zone. Right there, just before stepping in, is when you say out loud, "Comfort is weakening me. I choose to grow stronger." And you step in. The first 10 seconds are brutal. Your body protests, your mind screams, but you don't step out. You breathe. You hold for 30 seconds, you step out, and something has changed. Not in your body, in your mind. You've just proven that you can do something uncomfortable even when every fiber of your being begs you not to. That is the real practice. It's not about the cold shower itself. It's about training your ability to choose what's hard when you could choose what's easy. About strengthening that willpower muscle that is atrophied from not being used. Lesson 3, you're the one holding your chains. Do you know what's sad about today? That there are no more slaves, no masters beating us with whips, no iron chains clanking as we walk, and yet we're still chained. Yes, you heard me right. Maybe the chains are no longer made of metal and we don't live like animals at our master's mercy, but are you sure you're free? Because nowadays, my friend, we're the ones tightening our own shackles. We tie ourselves to fear, to comfort, to the approval of others. We become voluntary prisoners with the key hanging around our neck while we complain that the cell door is locked. Listen to me, because this is one of the hardest truths to accept. It's not your boss, not your partner, not the government. It's you who's holding your own chains. I'll be honest. Many years ago, I lived it myself. I had a job I hated and a relationship that wasn't working, and still, every morning I woke up hoping that something would change. I complained about the boss, the city, the routine, the heat, everything, except the most obvious thing, that it was me who stayed there, who signed the paychecks, who smiled out of obligation. And one day, after months of self-pity, I finally dared to tell myself the truth. I sat down and accepted why I was in that situation, who was really responsible, and what I needed to do to get out. And that's when, only then, I realized that the door had always been open and the key had been hanging around my neck the whole time. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Epictetus said it plainly. No man is free who is not master of himself. To him, chains weren't just made of iron, and masters weren't just men with whips. The real chains were invisible: envy, dependence, routine, guilt. All those chains aren't made of metal, but they weigh just the same. And the masters aren't emperors or jailers. They're your fear of failing, your need for likes on social media, your boss you obey without question, your own fear of being alone. If you keep blaming others, you're just tightening the shackle yourself. Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps, explained it with brutal serenity. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Ah, what a phrase, what a punch of wisdom, pure responsibility. He accepted his pain, told himself the truth, and understood that no one could take away his inner freedom. And so, even in the midst of horror, he proved that chains are only real if you decide to wear them. I can even imagine Epictetus sitting in a Starbucks, hearing someone say, "My boss has me tied down," and him raising an eyebrow while stirring his coffee, replying, "Well, let go, champ, and no one's holding you with anything." So, my friend, if you dare to accept that you're the one putting your own chains around your neck, do something simple. Write down on a sheet what's bothering you today, and next to it, what part of it depends on you. And when you think "I can't," change it to "I don't want to let go yet," and feel the difference. Because accepting this truth might hurt, but it also sets you free. The chains were never fully locked, you just have to dare to open your hand. Lesson 4. Not deciding is already a decision. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Adrian, a young man who always dreamed of becoming a chef. Since he was a boy, he would watch, mesmerized, as his grandmother kneaded bread, imagining that one day he'd have his own artisan bakery. For years, every time he walked past a culinary school, he would stop in front of it, hands in his pockets, feeling butterflies in his stomach and thinking, someday I'll go in. Someday it'll be the right time. But that someday turned into years. Adrian always found an excuse, that he didn't have enough money, that it wasn't the right moment, that there were more important things. But really, what he felt was fear. Fear of failing. Fear that if he tried, he'd find out he wasn't as good as he dreamed, as good as his grandmother had been. So he stayed in his office job, filling out spreadsheets, wearing a tight tie around his neck, and feeling his heart grow dimmer every day. He watched as others dared to chase their dreams, as life moved forward, and he stayed there, frozen, convinced that by not deciding he couldn't make a mistake. Until one day, standing in front of the building where his beloved grandmother's bakery used to be, he broke down and cried out of sheer helplessness. He finally saw the truth he'd always avoided. Not deciding was a decision, and he'd made it too many times. Because, my friend, not choosing out of fear of failing is choosing to fail quietly. Thinking that staying still protects you is just a lie so you don't have to face reality. Every time you don't choose, someone or something else chooses for you. And when you finally dare to look back, the train is gone and the platform is empty. Every day you don't choose, you're voting against yourself. Marcus Aurelius said it plainly, delay is the greatest waste of life. Centuries later, psychologist Susan Jeffers confirmed it. Not making a decision is in itself a decision, and it's the worst one you can make. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew indecision isn't neutral, it's surrender in disguise. To them, living meant deciding constantly, because there's no virtue in passivity. For Marcus Aurelius, indecision was a slow death, because a man who doesn't use his will to choose becomes a leaf at the mercy of the wind. Epictetus taught that, if you don't use your reason to guide your steps, others will use it for you, and then you no longer belong to yourself. So today, look yourself in the mirror and ask, what truth am I avoiding? What decision am I still postponing because I don't want to face myself? If you don't make it, life will. And believe me, life rarely decides in your favor. So today, do yourself a favor. Make a list of those decisions you've been dodging and pick one. Just one, and make it today. When you feel doubt freezing you, breathe and remind yourself, not choosing is losing, it's surrendering to life. And you, my friend, you're not here to lose or to surrender. Lesson 5. I am chaining myself. How many times have you complained about feeling trapped? How many times have you said, I can't, when what you really meant was, I'm afraid? How many perfectly crafted excuses have you built to justify why you're still in the same place you were 3 years ago? Because let's be honest, we no longer live in the age of slavery. No one has you physically chained. There are no masters with whips, no iron shackles. And yet you're still trapped. And the worst part is that you're the one holding the chains. Repeat this with me right now. I am chaining myself. It's not your boss. It's not your partner. It's not your circumstances. It's you who tightens the shackles every morning and then complains about not being able to move. It's you who has the key hanging around your neck while you stare at the closed door, waiting for someone else to come and open it. You probably know that Epictetus spent years as a slave. His body belonged to another man. They could beat him, sell him, kill him. But maybe you don't know this thing he said himself. No man is free who is not master of himself. Think about that. He was physically chained and considered himself freer than most of us today, because he understood that the real chains are not made of iron. They're invisible, and we wear them voluntarily. But what about you? What are those invisible chains in your life? The fear of failure that keeps you from starting that project. the need for approval that makes you say yes when you want to say no, the terror of being alone that keeps you in a relationship that drains you, the comfort that paralyzes you in a job you hate, the guilt that makes you live according to other people's expectations. All of those chains weigh as much as iron, but no one put them on you. You put them on yourself. A powerful example of this is Viktor Frankl. He survived Nazi concentration camps. If anyone had the right to feel chained by circumstances, it was him. And yet he wrote something that should be tattooed on your mind. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Frankl was in the worst hell a human being can experience, and still he understood that his inner freedom did not depend on external circumstances, that his body could be chained, but not his mind, that the only real prison was the one he chose to build in his own head. Now compare that to your life. You have total physical freedom. You can move, speak, choose, and yet you're still trapped. Why? Because your chains are more comfortable than Frankl's. They're so subtle you can pretend they're not there, so socially accepted that no one questions you for wearing them, so familiar that you don't even feel them until you try to move. Psychologist Edith Eger, also a Holocaust survivor, now helps people who feel trapped in their lives. She says something devastating. The biggest prison is the one you build in your mind. She has worked with people who have everything, money, family, health, and yet they feel imprisoned, because mental chains are stronger than any other. You don't need guards when you police your own cell. How does this show up in your own life? For example, you're in a job you hate. Every Monday you wake up nauseous, but you don't quit. You tell yourself you need the money, that you won't find anything better, that you have responsibilities. All of that sounds reasonable, but look deeper. Fear of change keeps you there. Terror of the unknown. The comfort of what's predictable, even if it's miserable. Those are your chains, and you tighten them every day you repeat those excuses. Or think about your relationships. There's someone in your life who drains you. Every interaction leaves you empty, but you stay. You tell yourself it's complicated, that there's history, that you don't want to hurt feelings. Meanwhile, you're hurting yourself every single day. The chain is not that person. It's your inability to set boundaries, your fear of confrontation, your need to be loved even by someone who harms you. It's time to start acting like a Stoic. How would they do it? First, by identifying what is in your control and what is not. Marcus Aurelius woke up every day reminding himself that other people's opinions were not in his control. Circumstances were not in his control, but his response, his choices, his thoughts, those were. And that's where he put all his energy. He didn't fight chains others put on him. He let go of the ones he put on himself. Sixth lesson. Every day that passes does not come back. As hard as it sounds, my friend, every day that passes does not come back. There is no rewind, no pause button. You can't save today's hours to use them tomorrow. Time is the only thing that leaves without asking permission and without leaving a trace. Seneca wrote something that should be engraved on your mirror so you read it every morning. It is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. The problem is not how much time you have, it's what you do with it. You have the same 24 hours that Leonardo da Vinci had to create masterpieces, the same ones Marie Curie used to change science, the same ones that evaporate between notifications and TV episodes. Imagine it's 11 at night. You're in bed with your phone in your hand. You've been watching videos for 2 hours that you'll forget in 5 minutes. You know that tomorrow you have important things to do. That project you've been postponing for 3 weeks. That call you need to make. But you keep scrolling. Just one more, you tell yourself. When you finally check the time, it's 2 in the morning. You've lost 3 hours. Those 3 hours are gone forever. They disappeared while you stared at a screen. The Stoics were obsessed with this. Marcus Aurelius woke up every morning reminding himself that this day could be his last. Not to depress himself, to not waste it, to not spend it on nonsense. He wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while you can, be good." Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi studied for decades how people use their time. He discovered something devastating. Most people spend more than 60% of their free time on activities they later describe as unsatisfying or empty. Watching television without really wanting to, browsing social media without purpose, doing things we don't even enjoy because it's easier than doing what matters. Csikszentmihalyi called this psychic entropy, the natural tendency to let time slip away without direction, without intention, without value. But this didn't happen to the Stoics. Every night they reviewed their day. Marcus Aurelius asked himself, "What vice did I overcome today? In what did I improve? What time did I waste?" He didn't do it to punish himself. He did it so he wouldn't repeat tomorrow the mistakes of today, to regain control over the only thing he truly owned, his moments. That's why Epictetus asked his students, "How much longer will you wait before demanding the best from yourself?" He didn't ask if they had time. He asked why they were wasting it. Because Epictetus, who spent years as a slave without control over his life, understood better than anyone the value of each free moment. Think about this. If you live 80 years, you have roughly 4,000 weeks. Not 40,000, 4,000. If you're 30 years old, you've already spent about 1,500. You have around 2,500 left. It sounds like a lot until you realize how fast a week disappears, how a year vanishes without you noticing, how you've spent 5 years saying someday to things you could be doing today. So every morning, before touching your phone, say out loud, "Every day that passes does not come back. This day does not come back." Say it feeling the weight of those words. Then identify one single thing you will do today that you won't regret tomorrow. Not 3. 1. It can be calling someone you miss, working 30 minutes on that personal project, reading instead of scrolling, walking instead of lying around. One thing that when this day is gone forever, you'll be glad you did. Every night before going to sleep, review your day the way Marcus Aurelius did. Ask yourself, what did I spend my time on today? Would I be proud of this day if it were my last? This is not about being productive every second. It's about being intentional, about not waking up in 5 years wondering where it all went. And when you catch yourself saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "when I have time," stop, breathe, and recognize the lie. Time doesn't appear. You either create it or you lose it. Seneca said it with brutal clarity. While we postpone life, it passes. Lesson 7. You can't control anything except yourself. There's a truth the Stoics repeated to themselves over and over, with the calm of someone who's lived enough to understand it. You can't control anything except yourself. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll find peace. Because trying to control the world is like shouting at the ocean to stop its waves or trying to hold the wind in your hands. Useless, but exhausting. In a remote village many years ago, they say, there lived an old man who was always upset because sand from the beach kept blowing into his house. Day after day at dawn, you'd see him sweeping the shore. The neighbors would stop and stare, not quite believing it. One day, a passerby, curious, came closer and asked, "What are you trying to do, good man?" The old man, sweat on his brow and back bent, answered, "I'm trying to stop the sand from reaching my house." Hours passed, and like every day, the sea kept bringing more and more sand until, defeated, he sat down in his doorway. That same afternoon, his grandson appeared, having watched him follow this ritual his whole life. This time, the boy brought him a gift, a new door. His grandfather's was old, cracked from years of wear, letting in all the sand the sea brought. The boy said, "Grandpa, leave the beach alone and just close this. The sand will still be there, but it won't come in anymore." That's when the old man finally understood. It wasn't the sea that had to change, but himself. Now imagine you're on a plane. Turbulence starts, and you feel your stomach in your throat. You grip the armrest, you sweat, you glare at the pilot, you think you'll never fly again. But the plane keeps shaking just the same. Now, imagine you look at the seat next to you, and there he is, calmly writing in his journal, Marcus Aurelius. Calm, immersed in his thoughts, unshaken by the storm rocking the plane. And you wonder, why isn't he upset? Because he already understood he can't control the air, or the plane, or the pilot. He can only control his own reaction. And you, when are you going to understand that? Marcus Aurelius wrote it with the serenity of someone who no longer fights the waves. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make of it. To him, the entire universe was a constant flow of things beyond our reach. The rain, the traffic, other people's choices, tragedies, and blessings, all of it was inevitable and neutral. Only your thoughts and actions can be governed. Everything else deserves to be accepted without resistance. My friend, when faced with the unexpected, you must understand that neither hurry nor anger will help. Only the calm of someone who sits on the shore and watches the waves come and go without trying to stop them. The serenity of someone who lets the wind keep blowing and, instead of trying to block it, simply wraps himself in his coat. If you want to start living this truth, here are 3 simple ways to practice it. When something irritates you, do as the Stoics did. Take a deep breath and say to yourself, "Can I control it?" Number. Then I let it go. Then notice what is under your control, your words, your decisions, your habits, and focus there. And every time something goes wrong, remind yourself gently, "I can't govern everything, only myself." Because, my friend, the sooner you stop shouting at the ocean, the sooner you'll hear the sound of your own thoughts, and finally, with calm, you'll begin to walk in peace. Lesson 8. Fear comes with me, it doesn't go away on its own. Imagine an ordinary day in Rome in the year 170. Marcus Aurelius wakes up before dawn in his tent. Outside, he hears the dull noise of thousands of soldiers preparing themselves. Today he must decide whether to launch the attack or wait. If he is wrong, entire legions will die. Families destroyed. The empire trembling on the edge of collapse. He feels fear tightening his chest like an iron hand. His hands shake as he holds the map. His head pounds with everything that could go wrong. And what does he do? He doesn't wait for the fear to disappear. He doesn't beg the gods to give him courage. He doesn't look for a sign telling him that everything will be fine. He sits in the darkness, takes out his journal and writes, "Fear tells me this matters, nothing more." He reads those words again, takes a deep breath, and steps out of the tent to give the order, with fear still there, with his hands still shaking, with uncertainty biting at the back of his neck. But he goes. That is the phrase you need to tattoo into your mind, my friend. Fear comes with me. It doesn't go away on its own. It doesn't disappear because you ignore it. It doesn't evaporate because you wait for the moment when you finally feel brave. It doesn't retreat because you beg it or make mental deals with it. Fear is part of being alive, of trying important things, of growing. And the only way to take its power away is to accept that it will be there and move anyway. Think about this. You know someone who wants to start a business. They've been talking about it for years. They have the idea clear. They know what they want to do, but they never start. Why? Because they're waiting to not feel afraid. They're waiting for the day they wake up confident, convinced, without doubts. That day never comes. Because fear doesn't work like that. Fear doesn't wait for you to be ready before leaving. It's there before, during, and after. The difference between the person who starts and the one who doesn't is that one accepts walking with fear, and the other waits for a sense of security that doesn't exist. Marcus Aurelius wrote something brutal in his Meditations. Do not fear death, but fear never beginning to truly live. Notice that. He didn't say don't be afraid. He said don't let fear stop you from living. It's completely different. Marcus didn't deny fear. He recognized it, he accepted it, and he acted anyway. Look at this from another angle. Seneca lived under emperors like Caligula and Nero. He knew that any day could be his last. That one wrong word, one poorly interpreted look, could cost him his life. Did he freeze? No. He wrote. He taught. He lived intensely. Because he understood that waiting to be without fear was the same as waiting to be dead. Life is like playing a role in a play, he said. It doesn't matter if it's long or short. What matters is how well you play it. That's why the Stoics imagined the worst possible scenarios. Not to scare themselves more, but to take fear's power away. What is the worst that can happen? They asked themselves. And when they saw that even the worst case was survivable, fear lost its grip. Epictetus told his students, practice poverty, exile, death, That way, when they arrive, they won't surprise you. It sounds harsh, but it's liberating. Think about that job you want to leave. What is the worst that can happen? That you have no income for a few months? That you have to live more tightly? That your family questions you? Is it survivable? Probably yes. Is it better than spending the next 5 years hating every Monday? Definitely. Fear shows you the most catastrophic version. The Stoics teach you to look it straight in the face and decide whether it's really as terrible as it seems. There is something you need to understand, my friend. Fear is not your enemy. It's your uncomfortable companion. It's there to protect you, to keep you alert, to tell you that something matters. The problem is not feeling fear. The problem is believing that fear must disappear before you act. That belief paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in the same place for years. It steals your life while you wait to feel safe. 9th lesson. Only I decide how much it hurts. Imagine someone ignores you in a meeting. They don't greet you. Hours go by and you can't stop thinking about it. You replay it. You build stories about why they did it. You feel offended. You get angry. That night you don't sleep well. The next day you tell 3 different people about it. A week later you're still chewing on that moment. The question is, who is hurting you? The person who ignored you, or you, who keeps pressing on the wound? In moments like that, remember this phrase: only I decide how much it hurts. Others can hurt you, of course. That's inevitable. But you decide whether that wound lasts 5 minutes or 5 years. You decide whether to keep it open, whether to keep checking it, whether to make sure it keeps bleeding. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The harm others can do to me is not in their power. Only I can harm myself if I choose to." Look at that. He didn't say others can't attack you. He said the real damage, the kind that destroys you, is something only you can do to yourself. Because other people's actions last a second. Your reaction can last a lifetime. It's like having a splinter stuck in your finger. Does it hurt? Of course it does, that's unavoidable. But imagine that instead of pulling it out, you press on it every hour. You touch it, you move it around, you make sure it keeps hurting. Who is hurting you then? The splinter or you? That's exactly what you do with offenses. The event lasts a moment. Your obsession with it lasts months. Even Buddha said it 2,500 years ago. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. When different civilizations, different religions, philosophers from opposite eras all say the same thing, pay attention. It's not a coincidence. It's a universal truth. You are not responsible for what others do to you. You are completely responsible for how long you carry it. The Stoics lived this every day. Seneca had to deal with insane emperors, Caligula, Nero, men who killed on a whim. Seneca was exiled, slandered, constantly threatened. Did he consume himself with resentment? No. He wrote, "Life is too short to waste it on hatred." Not because the offenses weren't real, but because he understood that the real damage would be done by him if he allowed those offenses to occupy his mind. Now look at your own life. How much energy do you spend on trivial offenses? Someone cuts you off in traffic and ruins your morning. A comment on social media keeps you angry for 2 days. A coworker says something ambiguous and you spend a week analyzing it. Compared to losing someone you love, to real illness, to true loss, do these things deserve your energy? When you put offenses in perspective, most of them disappear. They're leaves in the wind, but you pick them up, you store them, you collect them as if they were treasures. Neuroscience confirms what the Stoics intuited. Rick Hansen, a neuroscientist, explains that the brain has a negativity bias. We remember offenses more vividly than compliments. One criticism weighs more than 10 praises. It's evolutionary survival. But we no longer live on the savannah running from predators. That mechanism that once kept us alive now keeps us miserable, because we still treat every offense as if it were a mortal threat. So the next time someone hurts you, count to 10. Breathe deeply, and say quietly, "This only hurts if I allow it." It's not denying the pain. It's recognizing that you have power over how long it lasts. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week, in a month, in a year? If the answer is no, let it go now. Don't wait, don't feed it, release it. And whenever you need to, say this phrase out loud, "Only I decide how much it hurts." Remind yourself that you have that power, that other people's words are just sounds in the air until you decide to give them meaning. that other people's actions are neutral events until you choose to be offended. And when you notice yourself ruminating on an offense, replaying what happened, building the case in your head, stop. Ask yourself, am I pulling out the splinter or am I pressing on it? Because every time you revisit the offense, every time you tell someone else about it, every time you imagine the perfect revenge, you are pressing on the splinter. The damage is no longer coming from the outside, it's coming from you. The Stoics understood that resentment doesn't punish others. It locks you inside a prison of your own making. While you stay angry, the person who offended you has probably already forgotten. They're living their life. You're stuck in that moment. Who is suffering more? Who is really being hurt? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of this constantly in his meditations. Nothing external can touch your soul unless you allow it. He wrote page after page repeating this truth to himself, not because it was easy to remember, but because it was easy to forget, especially when the insult is fresh, when the betrayal still burns, when the ego wants revenge. So let go. Not because the offense wasn't real, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. Because your time is too valuable to spend it on resentment. Because every moment you spend pressing that wound is a moment you are not living. Only you decide how much it hurts, my friend. That is the most liberating and the most difficult truth to accept. Liberating because it gives you your power back. Difficult because it means you are responsible for your own suffering. But once you accept that responsibility, once you understand that power, no one can steal your peace. Because peace does not depend on others behaving well. It depends on you choosing not to give them power over your inner state. Stop blaming, stop ruminating, stop pressing on the splinter, pull it out and move on. That is real power, and it was always in your hands. Lesson 10. No one is going to save you. My friend, let's be clear from the start. No one is going to come and save you. No hero is going to walk through the door. No fairy godmother is going to wave her wand. Your life isn't a movie. Imagine you're in your kitchen and smoke starts pouring out of the oven. Within seconds, you can't see anything. It smells like something's burning. Flames start to rise. Would you just sit there in your chair, calmly eating your cereal, watching your house burn down, waiting for someone to come and save you? Sounds absurd, doesn't it? And yet, that's exactly what you do every time an uncomfortable problem shows up. An argument at work, a setback you don't know how to handle. You convince yourself that someone will come with the solution, with the answers, with the key to unlock your chains. Believe me, no one is coming. And that's okay. The sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll start building the life you really want. Because this is one of the harshest but most freeing truths. No one is going to save you. What weighs on you, what hurts you, what you're missing, it's on you to fix it. How many times have you sat in the middle of a problem, waiting for a call, a message, a hand to appear out of nowhere to pull you out? The days pass, and you keep hoping someone will show up to help, but no one does, and you wonder why. The answer is simple. Because you're still sitting in your kitchen waiting for someone else to put out the fire in your oven. And life doesn't work like that, my friend. Seneca put it bluntly. It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that they're difficult. The Stoics knew this so well they repeated it like a commandment. The longer you wait for a savior, the harder your life becomes. For Epictetus, even as a slave, this was the root of freedom. Accepting that no one was coming to give him anything, and that the little or much he had was in his mind and in his hands. Marcus Aurelius, with all the power in the world at his feet, understood the same, that not all the soldiers of Rome nor all the gods of Olympus could relieve him of his daily duty to act for himself. And that's what they did. Every day they took responsibility for their part, no matter how small, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how lonely. True dignity, they said, lies in not handing your soul or your actions over to someone else. Do you think Epictetus, with chains on his feet, sat around waiting for his master to treat him justly? No, he became master of his own thoughts. Do you think Marcus Aurelius waited for fate to resolve his battles? No, he wrote with his own hand that nature does not wait for us to be ready. That's the lesson. What you need to do, you do it. Yourself now with your own strength. The longer you wait, the harder it gets, the heavier the chain becomes. And don't just sit with the words. Start today. Accept this uncomfortable truth and act. Identify just one thing you've been putting off because you expect it to fix itself or for someone else to do it for you. Don't wait until tomorrow. You do it. Every time you catch yourself hoping for a miracle or for outside help, stop and say out loud, "No one's coming. It's me." And third, before you go to bed tonight, write down 3 things you accomplished on your own, without depending on anyone else. Read them and celebrate them as your small Stoic victory of the day. Because, my friend, this is the truth that hurts the most and frees you the most. No one is going to save you. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner you'll be able to put out the fire in your kitchen and walk out your own door, stronger and freer. Lesson 11. Time doesn't wait for you. Have you ever wondered how much of your life you're letting slip away while you wait for the so-called perfect moment? Imagine that every day you're deposited 1,440 coins into your account. Exactly that amount, no more, no less. But these coins aren't gold or silver, they're the minutes of your day. And here comes the uncomfortable question. What are you spending them on? Because at the end of each day, they're gone. You can't save them and you can't ask for them back. And this is one of those harsh truths that's hardest to accept, but can change your life the most. Time doesn't wait for you, it doesn't come back to you, and you can't get it back. Take a good look at what you're doing. Those 1,440 coins get spent on empty conversations, on overthinking things you can't change, on staring at the ceiling while you say, "I'll do it tomorrow." And yet you keep acting like tomorrow will give you back today's minutes, as if life had a pause button. Do you think fate is saving up the minutes you didn't use? Spoiler. No, fate saves nothing. They say that in a small valley in Greece there once lived a farmer who always repeated the same phrase whenever someone reminded him to start planting. There's still time. Every spring his neighbors would get up early, plowing and scattering seeds while he watched from his doorway, arms crossed, with the calm of someone who thinks he has all the time in the world. Some days he'd busy himself fixing the roof, others cleaning tools, others just sitting in the shade of an olive tree. And whenever his fellow farmers asked, he'd say, "I'll start tomorrow." That tomorrow turned into weeks, and those weeks into months, until one especially cold winter arrived earlier than expected. That morning, the farmer finally woke up determined, grabbed the sack of seeds and went out to the field ready to work. But when he struck the earth with his hoe, the ground was hard as stone, frozen and cracked. The seed could no longer sink in. The season was over, and nothing, not his regret, not his lament, could bring back the days he'd wasted. And it was then, during that harsh winter that he had to endure almost without food, that he accepted the hardest truth, that time waits for no one. He understood that he'd confused patience with laziness and confidence with blindness. That's what happens to you too when you keep putting off the things you know matter. You think there will always be another season, a better moment, a more comfortable tomorrow. But then one day the ground goes cold, and all you're left with is wondering why you didn't do it sooner. Seneca put it brutally. It's not that we have too little time, but that we waste much of it. Life is long enough to achieve the greatest undertakings, if we use it well. For the Stoics, time was the only thing truly valuable, because it was the only thing you could never recover. Marcus Aurelius wrote that he had to live each day as if it were his last, because it just might be. To them, wasting time wasn't just a mistake, it was a way of betraying yourself. And here's the lesson. Putting off what's important is self-deception. Time is the fairest thing in the universe because it gives us all the same amount each day. But the difference is what you choose to do with it. The Stoics didn't wait for the perfect moment because they knew it never comes. That was their way of honoring life, acting before the ground grew cold and nothing could grow. Today, you do the same as that farmer when you spend hours scrolling on your screen without realizing those coins are slipping away forever. I can even picture Marcus Aurelius in a modern office telling someone, "Time flies if you don't grab it hard. Put that screen down already and do something that matters." Because yes, time runs and it doesn't come back. It was true for the Stoics thousands of years ago, and it's still true for us today. So every time you feel you're throwing your time into things that aren't worth it, stop and ask yourself, is this what I want to buy with my minutes? Because, my friend, when you see it that way, you understand that there's nothing more valuable than learning to spend your time well. Lesson 12. Fear doesn't go away if you don't face it. Ah, fear. That great hidden enemy, invisible but so powerful. How many times have you tried to avoid what you fear? How many times have you run away from your responsibilities, thinking that if you just hid long enough, fear would leave? But here's a secret. Fear doesn't go away on its own. It's not a guest who packs its bags one day and walks out. Fear stays, and if you don't face it, it locks you in a windowless room. And here's the truth you need to accept. Fear isn't conquered by waiting for it to leave, or denying it, or running from it. You beat it by looking it in the eye, accepting it's there, and walking straight toward it. Picture this. It's your best friend's wedding and he asks you to say a few words during dinner. You, with a forced smile, say, "Sure, of course," without thinking much. But as soon as you get home and close the door, you start sweating. Your hands shake just thinking about it, and for the next 2 weeks you barely sleep. You see yourself up there, stammering in front of everyone, your face red, not knowing what to say. And then the big day comes. You've got the glass in your hand, your heart pounding in your chest, and 1,000 excuses to slip out through the kitchen. But no, you stand up. Your voice cracks, your hands tremble, your words stumble out. And then suddenly people smile, they laugh, they even applaud. That's when you realize fear never left. You just walked with it to the end, you faced it, and you beat it. The Stoics didn't see fear as an enemy to destroy, but as an uncomfortable teacher. Marcus Aurelius said there was no point in fearing what was inevitable. For him, fear was a sign you were standing in front of something meaningful, something worth it. Epictetus, even as a slave, learned to look fear in the face, to accept that he couldn't control the outcome, but he could control his attitude. A Stoic trains himself to understand that fear doesn't define him. He notices it, breathes through it, and keeps walking. He doesn't wait for it to go away before acting because he knows it doesn't go away on its own. Think about the great figures we admire today and how they overcame fear. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison for standing by his principles. Do you think he didn't feel fear? Or that he waited for fear to leave before going out and fighting against inequality? Of course not. He took fear by the hand and walked firmly until he reached his goal. After becoming president, he put it brutally clearly. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Ah, what a Stoic phrase, don't you think? And I think we can agree that what Mandela went through was a little harder than giving a speech at a friend's wedding. Fear will always be there, in your mind, but you decide whether you let it rule or just give it the place it deserves. So if you're willing to look fear in the face and accept it's never going to leave, here are 3 concrete steps for you. First, before a tough moment, take a deep breath and say, "Yes, I'm afraid, and I'll go ahead anyway." Second, at least once a week, do something small that scares you. Talk to a stranger, sign up for that activity that embarrasses you. Try something new you've always avoided. And third, when you feel fear rising, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And then do it anyway. My friend, accepting that fear won't go away is like learning to sail on a stormy sea. You can't stop the waves, but you can keep your hand steady on the wheel. And right when you dare to ride the waves, fear starts losing its power, and you discover that on the other side is the life you've always wanted. Lesson 13. Comfort is killing you. Have you noticed how the modern world is designed so you don't have to move? Everything is set up so you can stay on the couch. You press a button and food shows up at your door. You've got an app to pay bills without getting out of bed. You can work, shop for clothes, watch movies, talk to friends. all without taking a single step outside your house. Even if you're too lazy to turn on the light, Alexa does it for you. Sure, it's convenient, but it's also a silent trap. Little by little, you need less and less effort to get what you want, and, without realizing it, you stop even wanting to try. Don't get me wrong, progress is good. Technology connects us, makes life easier, I know. We don't have to hunt our food and risk our lives every day anymore, and that's great. But think for a second. Is all this comfort really necessary? Comfort is an achievement of our species, absolutely. But here comes one of those truths that hurts to accept. Too much comfort weakens you. Because what warms you like a heavy blanket in winter today, tomorrow stops you from getting up. The problem isn't ordering your groceries on your phone or lying down to watch a show. The problem is that little by little, you start losing the will to push yourself, the strength to go out there and chase what you want in life, the courage to face whatever comes. You get used to what's easy, to avoiding discomfort, to not challenging yourself. And when you finally need strength for something important, you discover it's no longer there. Because comfort took it from you while you were watching Netflix and ordering takeout. Imagine one day you decide to take a break from the gym, just for this week. You tell yourself you're tired, that you've earned it. The next week you're not really in the mood because, well, you didn't lose much muscle anyway, right? The third week you start saying it's too cold, you didn't sleep well, you're too busy, blah, blah, blah. Spoiler, by the time you notice, a year has gone by. The muscles are gone, your energy too. And all you've got left is a pile of excuses and a couch shaped like your body. The Stoics knew this well. For them, excessive comfort was a trap for the soul. Marcus Aurelius, with all the power in the world in his hands, slept on hard floors to remind himself that his strength didn't come from pillows, but from his spirit. For him, life wasn't about getting comfortable, but about training himself every day to grow stronger. He said, "Your body shouldn't take charge of your thoughts. Your thoughts should govern your body." And with that conviction, he endured cold nights, wars, illness, and betrayal without letting his spirit break. Even today, psychologists confirm it. Kelly McGonigal explains in her studies that when we constantly avoid effort, our brain starts associating any discomfort with danger, which reinforces the vicious cycle of passivity. According to her, every little physical challenge you choose, walking when you don't feel like it, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, also trains your mind to face emotional and social challenges. It's not just your body that grows stronger, it's your character. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson understands this perfectly. In interviews, he says he trains like his life depends on it every single day, precisely to keep comfort from making him weak. Can you imagine Epictetus today, sitting on a couch with Netflix saying, "One more episode and then I'll face life"? Most likely after 2 minutes he'd stand up and say, "This is worse than the chains when I was a slave." So if you want this hard truth to make you stronger and bring you closer to the life you want, start small. Every week, do something uncomfortable on purpose. Wake up earlier, run in the rain, say no to a plan so you can put yourself first. And when you feel your day was too easy, find a challenge to shake it up, no matter how small. Because comfort, my friend, lulls you to sleep without you noticing. And only when you decide to make yourself uncomfortable do you discover how strong you still can be. So if you dare to say no to comfort, if you dare to grow stronger every day, go to the comments and write, "I choose effort. I'm Stoic." Lesson 14. The harm you feel is your own doing. Tell me, why do you keep poking at that wound as if you depended on it to exist? Yes, I know, others can hurt you that you can't avoid, but you're the one making sure it keeps hurting every single day. Like you've got a thorn in your finger and you press it again and again just to check if it's still there. Don't you see that every day you do that, you're hurting yourself? This is one of those truths you should repeat every morning like a mantra. Only I can hurt myself, and I'm not the one saying it. Marcus Aurelius did. The harm they may do me is not in their power. Only I can harm myself, if I choose to. Imagine a friend doesn't invite you to their birthday. You spend days replaying the moment, scrolling through the party photos on Instagram, telling everyone how they let you down. Because of course their rejection hurt you. Really? Are you sure that's it? Because the hurt doesn't come from what they did. It comes from you staying there, staring at the wound, reopening it. Or think about this. Someone cuts in line at the supermarket, and you spend the entire afternoon cursing, thinking about what you should have said. Does that really matter? Is it really worth your energy? When you compare it to what truly matters, you realize most offenses are insignificant, like leaves in the wind. Or have you never lost a loved one? Have you never felt the pain of saying goodbye to someone forever? That changes things, doesn't it? When we put what happens to us into perspective and compare it to what really matters, we see the truth. Most of the time, the harm comes from ourselves. Psychology backs this up, and strongly. Tara Brach, psychologist and author, explains that prolonged suffering doesn't come from the initial wound, but from your refusal to let it go. Pain is inevitable, of course, but what you do with it afterward is your choice, and that is your great power. You can turn what happens to you into an eternal punishment or into an invaluable lesson. And this isn't just what the Stoics said or what psychology confirms, it's a universal truth. Buddha himself said it thousands of years ago. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. My friend, when different cultures, religions, thinkers across all time agree on something, it's for a reason. Believe me, you're not responsible for what they do to you, but you are responsible for how long you choose to carry it. Marcus Aurelius wrote it over and over by his own hand in his meditations. He filled pages reminding himself that nothing external could touch his soul unless he allowed it. For the Stoics, what others do is out of your control. What you do with it is all that matters. Resentment doesn't punish others. It traps you in an endless storm. But let's bring it into modern life so you can see this isn't just old philosophy. Imagine Marcus Aurelius on Twitter today, replying to an insult with a simple, "Offenses only hurt if you accept them." Or Seneca at a neighborhood meeting, listening to someone complain, "They gave me the wrong parking space." And him, calm, with a slight smile, "My friend, it's not the parking spot that disturbs you, it's your mind." If you want to start freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering, try something simple. Next time someone hurts you, count to 10 and quietly say, "This only hurts if I let it." Then breathe. And finally, look in the mirror and remind yourself of this truth you should tell yourself every day. Only I can hurt myself. Come on, dare to try it, even if just for a day. Stop blaming others and accept that the only one who can truly hurt you is you. If you're ready to take responsibility, go to the comments and write, "Only I can harm myself." I'm Stoic. Lesson 15. Freedom only comes when you accept the truth. Here comes the final truth, the biggest of them all, the one the Stoics repeated to themselves like a daily commandment. Freedom only comes when you dare to accept things as they are, not as you want them to be. They knew this well. Pretending, denying, lying to yourself, that's just a cell disguised as comfort. Epictetus told his students sternly, "You can break all the external chains, but if you keep lying to yourself, you're still a slave. And the longer you hold on to that lie, the more you forget what it was like to live without chains. It's like wearing a heavy mask, so heavy that one day you don't even remember your real face anymore. At first you wear it because you think it protects you, because you believe that if no one sees what's underneath, they can't hurt you. But over time, that mask becomes so much a part of you that you stop breathing, stop moving, stop being. Nelson Mandela understood this better than anyone. When he walked out of prison after 27 years, he said, "As I walked out the door toward my freedom, I knew that if I didn't leave behind my bitterness and hatred, I'd still be a prisoner. Because yes, you can walk out of the cell, but if you don't leave behind the lies you tell yourself, you're still locked up. Imagine you've spent years in a job you hate. You convince yourself there's no alternative. that it's not so bad, that everyone does it. Then one day you're fired. At first it feels brutal. You're walking down the street with your cardboard box and your things, feeling defeated. But as you keep walking, something in you loosens. For the first time in years, you breathe deeply. You feel a strange lightness, as if you can finally see yourself without the disguise. And you think, this is freedom. Marcus Aurelius understood it clearly. It is the way of the reckless man to flee from the truth. The wise man accepts it and acts. For him and for Epictetus, there was no freedom without truth. You could travel the world, pile up riches, fake happiness. But if you didn't dare to see yourself as you truly were, you were still chained. That's why, for them, a painful truth was always better than a comfortable lie. Because the lie calms you on the outside, but poisons you on the inside. Today, I want to invite you to more than just reflection. I want you to act. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask, what lie do I tell myself every morning? That lie that justifies what you do, even though you know it's killing you inside. Write it down, give it a name, look at it, and read it aloud. Then ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped holding this lie today? Who would I be without it? And if you don't, ask yourself this too. What is this mask costing me? What relationships have I already lost by holding on to it? What dreams have I not seen because I was afraid to break it? That discomfort you feel when you see yourself without it. That's the price of freedom. And believe me, it's worth it. Every night, write down one truth you avoided during the day. At first it hurts, I know. But after a week, you'll notice you breathe deeper. You walk lighter. You start to recognize yourself again. And don't forget, every time your mind whispers, it's better not to know, answer it the way a Stoic would. I'd rather carry the truth than live on my knees before a lie. Because, my friend, as long as you keep holding the mask, you're still in the cell. And you weren't born for that. My friend, not everyone dares to look in the mirror and tell themselves the truth. Not everyone is willing to break the chains they've forged themselves, one by one, with fear, with excuses, with silence. Today you've seen there are no shortcuts, no easy comforts, no saviors. Just you facing yourself. And even though it hurts, even though it's uncomfortable, it's the only path to freedom. The Stoics knew it. Life doesn't wait, fear doesn't vanish, time doesn't come back. And every lie you tell yourself is just another shackle. So now the question is, are you going to keep avoiding the truth, or are you finally going to embrace it and walk lighter? If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "Today I speak the truth to myself." That tells me you're part of this community that doesn't give up. Subscribe and turn on the bell so we can walk this path of wisdom together. You've got more videos on screen waiting for you, because every step counts. Click now, and let's keep learning together.